Hello guys, welcome to another episode of
89 Reviews.
Well, today we are reviewing Nobody Wants This, the new show on Netflix. So I have a series of questions for you guys. How does the show's tone contribute to the overall impact? First of all, what is the show about?
Okay.
Why not discuss that first?
So, non-spoiler sort of summary. It's basically a show about an interfaith relationship in like the modern days, like now in 2024. And it's about this guy who's a rabbi and a girl who's
A podcast host.
a podcast host who's not a Jewish person
And doesn't necessarily believe in the idea.
of religion.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
They don't actually say,
Yeah.
funnily enough. They don't like. She's basically supposed to be like a white waspy type who they would have been like Christian or something, but they don't practice. So, and it's basically about how they both approach the relationship because of their different like upbringings. That's what it's kind of about. And like, it's interesting because they're both very different people. Like she's very like, she's like that super modernistic, very cynical about life, and he's more like, I guess what's the word would you have?
Yeah, and also like the fact that so I am not really like fully passionately into chick flicks or whatever, but when I saw this, I was like, okay, cool, because it's like she said, polar opposites, totally different, individuals, but it's not like the typical chick flick where you're like, oh, okay, now this happened, but obviously at the end they'll get back together or whatever. So it's very, very practical, very real, very modern day-esque. I liked it.
I wouldn't even call it a chick flick, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Because chick flick is like cringy.
Right.
This wasn't cringy
Yeah.
at all, actually.
So you guys are saying the tone of it is not chick flick.
It's a rom-com. Don't
It's
get
a
me wrong,
rom-com.
But it's an updated, like,
Yeah.
written by like our generation type. So
Yeah.
it's not the typical stereotypes. That's what's interesting about it.
Very interesting. And how well do the characters develop throughout the series?
I love the character development. There's full growth for both of them.
And not just the main characters, but even the supporting
Yeah.
characters. Obviously,
Yeah.
without giving any spoilers, the main guy's brother, the main girl's sister, the parents. Every character I feel like has been written like individually. Like I remember in Brooklyn Nine-Nine or some other show, they had like one writer for each character. Sort of almost gives that feeling with this show that each character, no matter how insignificant it was, they had its own writer.
Yeah, like, I mean, each character was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I loved every single one of them.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like each character had its like own arc where they came on a positive side? Or do you think it was also like somewhere negative or no spoilers though? So
Without giving any spoilers, it was a mix of both. But again, it's not like when they were being negative, you were like strongly hating them, like any villain in any movie where you're like, oh, I hate you. But that means they're doing their job well because you end up hating them. But in this case, it was solid. I feel like I'm about to say things that might give spoilers, so I'm controlling myself.
No spoilers.
Yeah, because nobody wants spoilers. For nobody wants this. But yeah, I mean, every character had solid arc for sure.
and how does the show compare to other shows in its genre? And like what are some other shows in a similar genre?
I don't know about any other shows, but like I think of like To All the Boys I Loved Before, like very aware sort of rom-com type. It's obviously it's not teen. This is actually adult based. This is not a teen romance. Like most things are always like teen high school based romances. This is like they're in their 30s.
Yeah,
they're like
30 plus.
adults.
Yeah.
They're like very career focused. And the thing is that they're not like a mess. You know how each character is like, oh, I'm a mess and I'm trying to figure it out. It's not a mess in the conventional sense. That's what's so interesting about it. So it's basically like, well, again, without giving spoilers, it's about how two adults would conduct a relationship instead of two young adults. Like they're definitely in their late to mid 30s, which is what I love about it.
But you don't feel there are any other shows right now that you could compare and say it's a similar genre to those? Like
Emily in
Emily in Paris
No?
is very cringe and very like
Okay.
it's like fantasy type. So it's like you wouldn't. It's like to escape, and it's like not at all based on reality.
No, I mean, I'm on Netflix. I feel like there's no other
Nothing.
show like that. We're anywhere out of good shows on Netflix these days. So yeah, this was a good watch for sure. One thing that really caught my attention, or which I found really interesting, was the fact that the lady, the female lead in that, is a podcast host. And because it's set in like this modern day time, that thing being a podcast host wasn't like looked down upon, or you know how parents in our generation go like, oh, ye to podcast host, ye kya hota hai, or whatever, you know. It was like, oh my god, it's a big deal. She's a podcast host. Her parents were in on it. Everybody, oh my god, it's a big deal. Almost like a celebrity.
Like and she's trying to figure out a Spotify deal and stuff. So see, that's what I mean. But it's not people just starting out. It's not the typical okay, we're all a mess, and how do we figure out a romance in the middle? It's not.
It was
like
good.
that. It was very.
Everybody wants this.
I thought nobody wants this.
Yeah, but everybody wants this.
What are the strengths and weaknesses highlighted in this show, like in the review?
SWOT analysis, please.
But so one thing that I also came across, in fact, like just right now on Instagram, is I saw another review, funnily enough, which was that because the show is written by a Jewish writer and the show is about Judaism, people are like, and it is a big part of the show in the sense of because the main character is a rabbi. People are like, oh, we're promoting it's like Jewish propaganda, we're glorifying Judaism, which to me is a bit weird because, again, without trying to give the show away, they actually show how there are stereotypes within the Jewish community and how they can be exclusionary and very real sort of how it is to navigate an interfaith relationship, especially when that person is a rabbi. Like they're a big part of their community, of their temple. So naturally it would be a complicated thing anyway. I don't think this was like propaganda at all. I understand people saying that given the climate that we're in, the political climate that we're in, but that's also a very extreme. I don't see that at all. I thought it was a very sort of balanced view of showing that there's good and bad sides to everything. So I don't know. I thought that was.
I think in the second or third episode, he says something like gives like this quote while giving a sermon, and that is a quote actually that my nani used to give me in Urdu. So again, without spoiling it, I don't want to say it right now.
It was in the first, I think, end of the first
or second episode. Yeah. But again, like you said, weaknesses, strengths. I would say that it was not at all dragged. At no point did I feel like, okay, let's use my phone, let the episode run in the background. Not at all. If anything, I feel like maybe they could have added one or two more episodes. The ending, without giving any spoilers, I would say I liked it. However, there could. Because I don't even think you have seen the ending yet. Because you're on the last episode.
I'm on the last episode.
So I won't say much, but I feel like there could have been more meat in the last in like the ending. But apart from that, there's no weakness really. I found it really funny in this day and age to actually find funny content apart from stand-up comedy. I feel like it's tough. Sometimes you think you're watching something funny, but you're not really laughing out loud. You're just maybe laughing in your brain. But this actually made me laugh at many moments. So I don't think there was any weakness. Not really. I think I liked it.
I really liked it also.
Yeah.
So overall, Ibad, out of 5, what would you rate it?
4.25.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do the hangover 0.25.
4.25.
There you go. And Shahini, what about you out of 5?
I would go 4.5 actually. The reason why I'm liking it that much is because again, I haven't seen any other rom-com like it. And I've seen all rom-coms, like the classics and even like the ones that came out a couple of years ago. And they've all been really bad, like just so bad. Like they make it seem like the audience that's watching is stupid. It's just insulting to, I feel like, the people who made it and the people watching it. This was the first time where I was like, yes, everybody was really into this and everybody actually everyone will enjoy that. It seems like they enjoyed making it and they genuinely want the audience to like it as well.
One thing I don't understand is why is the title Nobody Wants This?
Because nobody wants that relationship. Now it's only the twos and the ones that want the relationship. But everybody around them does.
Smart.
That's not spoilery at all, by the way, but
Smart.
nobody.
So
everybody wants this.
You guys gave a total of an 8.75 out of 10. I'm guessing this is 89 approved.
Definitely.
89 approved. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and stay tuned to City FM 89.